Flawless victory. Finish him.
Damn, Floki, you crazy.
I got a stack on my chip, thinking about money today. I'm tryna get me the pay, nigga just give me my pay. I gotta double my coins, tryna make money today. Thinking about hundreds and K, thinking about all of the pay. I need like 70, I'm on the tape. Fill the room up with some baddies. Let them know that they can have it, only if they gonna tap it. I'm with my nigga Sabali, we lit.
We lit.
Been in the crib,
Yeah,
blessing the cut.
yeah.
Nigga, we up.
I got a double and triple it. My boys in the cut, so we finish it. And talking that guap, put a pin in it. These commas just up my adrenaline. I'm sick in this money, my Benelin. I cannot fuck with no middleman. Vans on my bands, put a million in. I took a chance on my melanin. Black at the berry, the juice. Those payments I need to see proof. Ain't no rehearsal, no spoof. And my huddle is only the truth. Ben he gon' snap when he clapping them clips. Some of the school and Sabali my drip. It is what it is, I'm a pimp with my shit. Time is my money and life is my bitch.
I got a stack on my chip, thinking about money today. I'm tryna get me the pay, nigga just give me my pay. I gotta double my coins, tryna make money today. Thinking about hundreds and K, thinking about all of the pay. I need like 70, I'm on the tape. Fill the room up with some baddies. Let them know that they can have it, only if they gonna tap it. I'm with my nigga Sabali, we lit. Been in the crib, blessing the cut. Nigga, we up.
What's up, Sanvanani, Dumelang kaofela mo gae, nna ka lebitso ke Lisa Rakhodile, and welcome to the special episode of The Drop. Today we are interviewing Val's loved hip-hop artist. He's most loved by each and everyone. If you say Flex Van Doom, everyone's like, whoa, going crazy. And today we're gonna be like knowing more about him, you know, his music, you know, where his journey about music, where he's at now, what is he doing. So we're gonna want to know more about that today, so make sure that you stay tuned. Hi Flex, how are you?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Why like yo, like that was like in a side like
Nah, hey, it's been quite a morning, afternoon, whatever you want to call it, yeah. But I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm good. What happened? Why was it hectic?
This country and the sheds, man. Like, preparing in the morning was a mission, cause
Yeah.
Hi, stage 6 guys, we see you. Shout out for that.
Well,
man.
but apparently they say like we're gonna move to stage 2 tomorrow or something like that. I don't know, but I heard something like that on the news this morning.
I feel like these people are actually just making this stuff up as they go along. Yeah, because I got mad trust issues because of this government, but yeah, what else we gonna do?
It is what it is. We live in South after also, like, you know, things.
Yeah, true that.
I don't know. I just feel like we just need to accept and move on and just,
try and live the best life possible for you, Yeah, focus on the stuff that makes you happy. There's a lot that we still need to, that we actually can be grateful for. And, just, I guess, like a positive outlook, like really, it increases your quality of life, So, yeah, it's all about your outlook, actually. Yeah.
It doesn't help saying, Mara the government.
You can't cry, man. It's colors banning.
It's colors banning.
Yeah.
And no color sees, hey?
Yeah,
You just need to pick yourself up. So for a person as I was doing, how would you best describe yourself, right? Because Renata described you are loved by hip hop and like, all of these, but like how would you best describe yourself?
Yeah, I suck at describing myself. All right. Like,
why is that?
I don't know, man. I just think like I'm a chilled individual.
Sure.
I'm chilled. I'm calm. I got it's just positive vibes all around. I feel like if you have the energy that you put out is what you attract now. So you can even tell with like the guys that I roll with, Floki, the niggas by Money Way,
yeah,
and everybody in the game who I also like hold dear to me. we all one and the same. It's we all literally cut from the same cloth, and yeah, there's that element of craziness now, and like life is funny. I'd like to think I'm funny, but other than that, man, it's just chilled vibes, chill vibes.
And I also heard you talk about that earlier, that you know what, like you need to be careful about like the kind of people that you roll with, right? You can't just roll with anyone. Why is that important to you?
You got to protect your energy first and foremost now, especially because as a creative, as an artist, a lot of my inspiration and a lot of like basically my battery now, it's my emotions, you get me, it's my energy, it's my emotions, it's my state of mind, it's all these things. So if you taint it, the outcome and the product that you produce is not going to be of the same quality, right? Because if you are a kind, loving, caring person, there's going to be a lot of kindness and love and caring that's put into the product, and then people who listen to it or the people who consume it will then be able to tell that. Now, if you mix up the energies and like you mad confused, you're going to be confusing everybody else that you listen to, because I always find that the most important aspect of, if you're going to be like creating anything, is your conviction. If you're telling me that you're the best rapper alive, but I don't believe you because I don't hear it in your voice, then how is everybody else going to believe you? If you don't believe it, how is everybody else going to believe it? Right? So that's why, like, protecting yourself and your energy is so important. Yeah.
And I love that. So now let's move on talking about your music journey, right? So it's 2017, right? Disclaimer just came out, right?
Yeah.
And Slicker finally answers your email, right? So what's going on in your head? Like, what's the reaction like when you, like, just before even like we get, like, just before you start the Soul Incubator album, just when he responds, like, what's going on in your head?
No, it's like one of those numbing moments, like if you like do something and then you tag somebody that you really look up to and then they actually respond to it. It's just like one of those, right? So when he responded to the email, I didn't even know that it was him that I'm talking to, because like I know of Slick and I know of Squatter Camp, right?
Sure.
His name, like his name is Sia.
Sia, yes.
So like the name on the email was Sia, right? So like, is that thing, bro, like where you have to actually fact check and make sure that you're actually talking to the right person. So it's like it was really him, right? So there was obviously the excitement. Some anxiety did creep in because you don't really know what it is that you're signing yourself up to, and like life is hectic, man. And also keeping into consideration that this would be then my first introduction to the game at large, right? So I didn't know what to expect. There was a lot of excitement, a lot of anxiety, but all in all, I'm really glad I saw it through. Because it's a once in a lifetime experience that I got to experience along with the rest of my brothers on the Incubator album, and I feel like it changed the rest of my life. Yeah.
And do you still have some of those people like that you were working with?
Yeah, no,
do you still talk to them?
Those are the brothers. Those are fam.
Yeah.
Like people like Black Sugar, Master Difference, Lungelo Manzi, Elro. Like I went to Cape Town a few times actually, and I bumped into him that side. And every time I land in Cape, I always make sure that I reach out to him. Yeah, man, it's all fam, it's all love, But like I did lose contact with a few of the other gents because I did lose my phone like a couple of times. It's a long story, but yeah. But now for the guys that I do have on my social media, I always make sure that I check in every now and again.
Oh, that's nice. That's like very important. Just like making sure that you're keeping in touch with people now and again. And so watching like you on the Soul Incubator and your interviews and the performances on Slick on Life, right? So like for me, like one thing that I got is like you. For me, it seems, right, you can correct me, but it seems like you knew how to like step up quickly, like you were just like okay, this is what we're doing now. Like it's sort of like you understood that, okay, now I'm being introduced to the game, this is what I'm doing, so this is how I need to step up. Like, was it that quickly? Like
no,
the way
like
there was a lot of,
it was a mess.
It was a process.
It was a mess, it was a mess. Like the whole thing, the Slick on Life with the constant up and downs, going from Val to Josie. Like I basically lived on the road, because there was a constant up and down. I'd have to be in either Joburg or Pretoria every second day, right? So, and everything it was a reaction, right? So something would happen and we react to that, and then something else would happen and react to that. So it may have looked like, I'm glad if you're saying that, it looked like I had it under control, but it really wasn't. Like, me and my management were stressing. It was just a constant thing of also trying to, the thing about the game and how it works is if you do get a chance at a breakthrough of some sort or your young introduction, your time in that space is very limited. So you then also need to understand the assignment and take full advantage while you still can, right? So it was also that thing, we had a lot of ideas, a lot of things that we wanted to implement, but not all of them panned out. Half of them panned out half as well as we expected. The rest was just dumb luck, honestly. I remember like we actually got a chance to do like a young tour out in like some of the clubs in Pretoria, because another one of the guys by the incubator, Dollar Fam, he was the one who was chosen as his track was chosen as a single. So he got a video shot by Carl White. It got the whole media push. It was on MTV Base, it was on Trace, Channel O, and the works, right? And because of that thing of taking advantage, understanding what position you're in, understanding that you can leverage off of this thing and have conversations with people who wouldn't normally entertain those chats. We took advantage of that, and Dollar Fam was able to put together a few gigs out there in Pretoria. We toured, we had fun. And so that's literally what it is. You need to understand the position, the power in the position that you hold. And always understand that you can always reach for further than that. And because one thing that Boslik and them made very clear is that, this is not going to last forever. They did tell us now. And while you're there, the people that they're introducing you to, it's on you to then go introduce yourself like, hi, I'm Flex, I do this and this and this. Like, okay, is there anything that you, like, do you have any advice or anything, right? So even if it's just someone taking the time out to talk to you. I remember we were doing the MTV-based ciphers. And there was this lady, man, that was chilling in the back of the room the entire time, right? We recorded everything we recorded. Then she pulled, I think it was myself, Jazzy, and Black Sugar. Now she pulled us to the side, and then she explained who she was. And this is the lady who, for all intents and purpose, brought Nasty C to MTV Base, right? So through that conversation, you actually realize that, you are always a person away from the next move, a person away from the next breakthrough, a person away from the next big step up, right? So it's just that thing, you need to keep yourself constantly open, and that's one thing that I've taken away from my experience with the whole Sicker on Life Incubator album.
And what are the other things that have helped you, like, till this day? Like, there's like some principle that you live by that, like, still, like, today, even like the way you interact with people, like when you put out your music, the marketing and stuff like that. What are other things that you learned there that you still
if it doesn't feel right, don't do it. Like, it might be a thing, you have this opportunity to do something that will have a lot of eyes on it, but then if it doesn't feel right to you, at the end of the day, a lot of people can get lost in translation and put you in boxes that you don't belong in, right? So it's that thing, I know there's a lot of people, because of the space that we are in right now, a lot of people are jumping on the whole piano train now. But if it doesn't feel natural to you, now you're forcing yourself into a space where if this thing pops off, that's going to be you for the rest of your life, dog, because nobody's going to want to hear anything else. They're just going to want to hear that, right? So if it doesn't feel right to you, if it feels like it's going against your nature, against your grain, then don't do it. So that's one thing that I carry with me to this day.
And talking about the whole piano thing, right? I also have a friend who's a rapper, right? But he can easily tap into the piano thing, right? So so I always say to him, like, dude, why can't you just tap into piano? It's not a big deal. And he said to me exactly what you say. He's like, dude, do you understand that if I actually do piano and it pops, I'm gonna have to do piano for the rest of my life, and I'm not gonna do hip hop again.
I think if you end up doing something that goes against your grain, it goes against you, and the stuff that, if it doesn't feel natural to you, you might end up in a space where you'd be doing piano when you don't really want to, and then you end up getting boxed in like that. But then, not that I have anything against piano now, because I feel like every art form has there's a space that you need to experience it in now. And for me, when I actually realized that your piano is actually lit was in the club.
Yeah.
Right, because when you actually hear it and everybody is with you and they're all vibrating on the same frequency, you actually get to realize that actually this is actually really crazy, you know. So, no, big shout out to everybody who's out there doing it, and you can really tell when someone is about it, Babo, and it really comes from a healthy place. That this is art, Babo. So yeah, no, that's ultimately like my the best advice I could give anybody in a situation like that, and to that friend of yours as well. Like Lena, he'd be like, because it's not me, I can't really venture into that because I might get trapped in something that I didn't really sign up for. So, but big shout out to him and respect for that actually.
Yeah, he's gonna be like, I told you. I don't like that. And okay, now I lost my train of thought. You see that thing with the English now, it ran away again.
Yeah, man, England is far, man. Apparently it takes 7 days to walk from, like 7 days and a couple hours to walk from Vereeniging to England. Like there was I saw this thing on I think it was Facebook. Yeah, somebody was talking smack about somebody else's English, right? And then so dude just literally went to Google Maps, put in Vereeniging and then England as well, right? And then it would take 7 days. But yeah, man, it's not really your mother tongue, so it's expected.
Right, man, it's fine. So also, why do you think you like? Is that also the reason why you kept like into hip hop strictly? Like it was just like like your vibrations are not into like anything else, any sort of genre. It was just like this feels right. This is me, and anything else doesn't quite.
I think for me it was more of a thing, familiarity, because I did grow up listening to a lot of hip hop. Started rapping when I think I was in primary school. That was like rudimentary bars, they were whack as hell. Then in high school is where I got introduced to the more underground, more conscious side of hip hop now. And those were very informative years for me because that's when I actually started writing myself. Then from high school going to varsity, I picked up poetry, because I was trying to actually like trace the roots of where this thing began, and all hip hop is traced back to the poet and stuff. Like it's traced back to storytelling, at the most. But I find writing poetry is a lot harder than actually like rapping, because every single bar needs to make sense, and
it needs to rhyme as well.
Yeah, there's the rhyme schemes and stuff, but then like each bar alley-oops the next bar. So each little phrase that you'd say would then have to bleed into the next one, and then like there's some crazy guys who like there were like so many crazy people back in the poetry days, because I was at VUT and there was this poetry movement called Uvuk. There are geniuses out there, bro. Geniuses at this shit. And to this day, I still marvel at how people like Gastric wrote. People like Mystic, people like Stax. These are all the people that who took me under their wing and basically just showed me like, yo, Dana, if you want to do this thing. They didn't really like sit me down and teach me. Like I just learned through listening and watching, right? So a big shout out to them. Yeah, big shout out to the whole crew out there, Ruvuk.
Yeah.
And I hope everybody's still doing their thing and they find peace and happiness in what they do.
Would you do it again? Like
oh hell no. No. I think that there was a time and space for it, and I did really enjoy it. It was a release for me, but then I found a greater love, and that is what I do now. So as for would I ever... No, I think your question was more to...
we should do it again, yeah. Like
no, but then the question before that was more towards how... Because hip-hop is something that I'm comfortable in, it's not that anymore, because hip-hop is just... It was just a means to an end, right? Now it's a thing, actually creating music, because it's easy to rap, dog. Like, you can rap really, really hard and give the hardest bars, but then it's not musically gonna sound good, right? So the musicality behind it, and a big shout out to my producer Floki for actually taking the time to break everything down with me and then build it up again, right? Because now it's a thing, I used to sit down and write to beats. Now it's a thing, he'd be making a beat in studio and I would write for that specific beat then and there. So I don't think of my voice and the words that I'm using as words anymore. It's actually part of the song. It's an instrument now. It's a part of the beat. So what we do now is we speak to the musicality of it now. It's no longer just about having bars, even though bars is something that I will always deliver because of the way that I learned how to write. Right? But then, yeah, that's basically, I think, where the growth pattern for me is. That's where the direction that it's going now. Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. And so now, how does soft life alcoholic start?
Oh,
You know? Also, please, can you just make it clear? Is it alcoholic?
No.
And you just shorten it to aholic. What is aholic?
Alcoholic. So, like,
Yeah.
you know, alcoholic,
Yeah.
it's an addiction, right? So if you are
okay.
addicted to the soft life, you're a soft life aholic.
Okay.
Yeah. But then that's just like a phrase that I came up with Flow in Studios. Like, so literally the same way I explained how I make music now.
Yeah.
He was making the beat for the thing. He only had the skeleton. And then I started writing for it. And then I just said soft life aholic. And then that became the thing. I always wanted to like be that cool that I'd come up with like a whole new word
phrase,
and it
yeah.
would have to stick, right? So
Yeah.
I guess that was my little, check in the box out there on my bucket list.
Yeah, and
So,
it's just like now, okay, and now you realize that you actually are that cool.
I don't know yet.
Oh,
I
you
don't know.
you don't say that. Or there are still like.
Yeah, no, there's still a
things
lot of stuff that I'd like to achieve, but then that's just
before
like.
you say that. Oh, I'm cool like that.
Yeah, but then that was a really dope moment for me. I won't lie. And I also always wanted to do merch, and so it was just like a culmination of a lot of ideas, and the timing of it was right as well. So, I really did enjoy doing that. And shout out to Dumeloncha, the guy behind Sabali, for actually taking that chance with me. Yeah.
And how was that experience like? Like just like putting out the merch,
Yo.
and everybody like just responding to the merch.
My
And
nigga, that thing was hard work. Like the one thing that I will tell you about
Yeah.
the industry now, we always present the shine polished product at the end, but then to get there is a lot of hard work. There were a lot of trips trying to get the right type of t-shirts, trying to get the right type of hoodies, trying to get the right type of paints, printing, making mistakes, scrapping that thing. There was a lot of money that was lost though, but then we also like made it back though. I won't lie. Like it was something that taught me that the business behind the music is something that you need to really take into consideration if you're going to consider actually doing music or being part of the music industry. You need to understand how the funds work. And it taught me something else that's really important. Like as an artist or as someone in a social space, what you have is social currency. So everybody has social currency now, or to some degree. So now how do you turn your social currency into actual currency? You leverage the cool. So you have this thing, here's this product, here's this t-shirt. How much is it worth to you? So by extension, how much am I worth to you? Right? And we sold out, so shout out.
so you are worth like a whole lot of bag.
Yeah. I guess, Lord, it's just like a thing, confidence as well, because it feels cringy, like, patting myself on the back for this work, and it's work that you have to do. But it's cool to celebrate now, but then, you can't celebrate too much because you always need to move on to the next thing. You're only as hard as your last drop, right? So that's true in every aspect of life when it comes to the music and like just being out there.
And I feel like that's what we're always taught in the creative industry as well, like you're only as good as your last, as your last music, you're only as good as your last album, you're only as good as your last performance, whatever. That's what I was always told because I went to presenting school, right? That's my mentor always told us that you are as good as your last like performance, right? So we always used to like stand up, like in the room we used to always stand up and present, right? And if it was bad, they'd be like, you're literally as good as that. So it's up to you whether you want to make it like better or you just want it to stay on that level.
But I think, Leon, it's just like it's a mental exercise that you do with yourself, because if you're only as good as the last and the last was good, that means you need to aim for higher and do better. And that's a very good practice to have in this thing, because if you think about it, every new presenting gig that you pull up on, every song that I drop is going to be the first time someone gets introduced to you. Every single thing that you do is basically the first impression, right? And if your last first impression was bad, that's a potential fan that you lost. That's a potential view that you lost. Okay, you can't really lose a view if someone watches. You can't take back a view, but then that you get what I'm trying to say.
I get you. I get you. And so, like, what are the other things that you're working on now? Are you working on merch?
I'm working.
You're working on a lot.
Yeah, I'm working on a bit of everything because I do have a project that's lined up to drop. I was supposed to drop now, actually, today.
Today.
But yeah, there's just a few more things that I'd like to fall into place. But then I put a lot of time and effort into this. I have music videos that I've been shooting for it. There's a few features that I'm really excited about on it. It's just now it's a thing, yeah. I don't want it to be a drop just for the sake of dropping. I don't want it to be that thing, it goes out today and then okay, yeah. Yay!
Yay! Yeah.
So now it needs. So the amount of effort that went into it, I don't want to disrespect the effort that was put into it by me, everybody who's a part of it, Floki for taking the time to make the beats, Rele for taking the time to shoot the visuals, Ben for helping me, Ben Trill for helping me, Dumelo for helping me, and everybody around me and my team. I don't want to take their energy and their time and their love for granted. So that's why I want this drop to mean something. It's going to be titled Suspended in Time. Suspended in Time.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, it's going to be crazy, man. It's going to be crazy. It sounds amazing.
And there's also like this really, let me actually read it before I make a mistake. There's this thing that I don't know if it's related to Suspended in Time, right? Where you say that moments are a collection suspended in time, or a collection of memories suspended in time.
Yeah. That's if you think of like how a memory works, it's a snapshot of a moment. Because you don't recall memories as they happened. Like this is a crazy thing that I actually found out while I was doing the research for my project. And yes, people, I do research for my project. There's this thing called the Mandela effect. Now, so the whole world experienced this moment where everybody thought that Mandela died in prison. Right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people remember life happening that way, because you don't recall memories as they are. You have, it's more of a suggestion, like, okay, what was she wearing yesterday? Okay, it was a red top. But then if someone says now it was blue, then you're going to remember it being blue, right?
Yeah.
So with this thing, with the project that I did, it was literally just moments that are suspended in time. And nobody can change it because that's how it is, right? So yeah, word. We smart.
You can just tell by the way I'm saying like,
Nah, these niggas think out here. Nah, you better ask somebody. We think out here, man. But nah, man, there's just like a lot of
effort.
There was a lot of effort that went into this album, and I really enjoyed doing it. And I hope if people enjoy listening to it half as much as I enjoyed doing it, then that's a monumental win for me. Yeah.
That's cool. And like, I don't know, like there's this thing, I don't know if it's just me, right? Or like a whole lot of, I don't know if like people that listen to your music tell you this, but like I think every time, we trust, all the time that you're gonna put out a good project, it's just that thing of like, okay, like because like of the way you like the way music it's like there's that trust that like that's why I'm telling you that I'm always like, okay, when is he dropping, because it's like there's that like that trust thing. Okay, he's gonna put out a good project, we know. We don't like, and also thing about fans is like we don't know the work you're putting in, we don't know like, okay, or at least sleepless nights and like all of that process that goes into like making a project. We just trust that it's gonna be good, or how you made it to be good, what you sold for it to be good, we don't know. It's just that thing of like trust. Okay, you're gonna put out a good album.
Yeah. Now, and like for everybody who actually like messes with me like that, I really want to just thank you from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me that you take the time out of your day. If you see me walking in the streets, to come up and dab me. That just it's a constant reminder that I'm actually doing what I'm supposed to be doing, what I was designed to do, what I was meant to do, and for people to always have that expectation is just a testament to the amount of love and staying true to myself that went into putting the music together, because this whole thing has been a learning process for me. And before I did Aqua, the project, the project that I had out was the Palm Tree project. The Palm Tree project was so tiring to do. Like I felt like quitting music after that, but then I got into a space where I met Floki for the first time. I met a lot of the people that I actually still work with to this day, and we approached it in a different way. I think I had a little too much fun putting that project together, because like you can tell it lags here and there, but then when I listen to the projects I only hear the mistakes, right? But then I also understand that it means the world to somebody. Somebody listened to this and they really enjoyed it, right? So that always pushes me and it propels me to want to do something better and one up myself. It's going to be really hard to top Therapy, I won't lie. but
Yeah.
yeah,
It is.
yeah, but like, but no, it was that thing. Yeah, it was the timing of it was right, because
Yeah.
if memory serves me correct, like I was busy trying to put the finishing touches on Suspended in Time, and we just completely stopped that because there was this thing that was heavy on my mind and my heart that I needed to get out there, and that's how that project came to be. And for me personally, when we recorded the last song and when that man hit save on it, I was done. Like I didn't need to drop it because what I needed from it, I had already gotten.
It
right?
was your
So
therapy session.
so me putting it out was just a bonus session. It was just like a bonus thing for the people who actually like really mess with me. And I'm glad that everybody like really, really appreciated it as much as they did.
Yeah. And you know, can I tell you about like therapy, right? So like there's an interlude that goes on there when like your therapist asks you to write a letter to your mom, right? And you know, I also like lost my dad like sometime last year, right? And I've never
My condolences, by the way.
Thank you. Condolences too. And I never thought about it like that way, you know, where you kind of like say like, what would she say when she's here? You know what? Like it opened up like another, because you know, grieving, like you never get done with grieving, you know.
Yeah,
and you
not true
always, and it always hits you in different moments and in different sessions, you know. For me, I was explaining to my friends the other time that, you know what, like, you know, like every year, like you remember the day that like your parents passed away. That's the day, right?
Yeah.
And I said to my other friend, I said, you know what, like for me it doesn't hit like that day, like, you know. So for me last year it hit in December time, you know, when it's like you realize that it's my first Christmas without this person, you know, when you realize like, you know, those important days when you knew that person is always here, you know. And for me, like what the last song on your project did was like, you know, just kind of like make it, you know, I saw things in a different way now. I was like, I thought, yo, what would my dad say, you know, if he was here, you know, what he would say, like, you know, how he would react to certain situations. It was very like nice for me to actually experience it in that way, because I always feel like, you know, sometimes like it's like memory in your head, you know, it's like, okay, now you like it's just like fragments.
It's things like you can't even remember what they sound like. That was the most trippy thing for me. Because like I think my father sent me a video that he took, like I think it was I think the last Christmas that they had together, he sent me that video, and I, like the first time in almost 2 years, I actually heard my mom's voice again. And that just like flooded a whole bunch of emotions and stuff. So when it comes to like the whole grieving process and that thing, the best way I'd actually explain is because you are you, because you are half of your mother and half of your father. Now you are both half in DNA, yeah? But also with the love, the affection, the time, and the effort that was put in. So when it comes to a question like, yo, what would my mom think? Because this person's love raised me, I don't have to think hard. Because literally half of it is me, right? So if I want to know what she thinks, all I have to do is just look inwards, right? So and then that's how I'd get my answers. And that's literally how I wrote that last song. It was the easiest song to write because it wrote itself. Right, so yeah, that's I don't know what song is that? With Love for Mom. Yeah, but it was also hectic, eh?
It was hard.
Because all I ever hear, like everybody who listens to it tells me that they cried when they heard it. A lot of people who listened with Love for Mom, their first response would be, yo, they cried, right? And it's really dope to know that something that you created, something that you put time and effort into, would evoke that type of reaction out of people. Obviously, I didn't do it for that reaction. I did it for my own selfish purposes now, because I needed to take care of myself. But then to know that it wasn't in vain is just amazing. Yeah.
And also that's besides like the project therapy, right? I got listening to your music. I got very like, you give like, I love the fact that like you give us an opportunity to feel, you know. And I don't know, like with a lot of like men, you know, like, you know, it's like you do, like feelings are not a thing, you know. If you daughter and feelings are not a thing, you know, like you're not supposed to be like feeling anything. If you're feeling anything, you just move on and you just be strong. There's nothing like, why are you feeling, like what is that feelings all about? But I love the fact that like you give us an opportunity to feel, you know,
Yeah.
and it's not just to feel like sad or to cry, but also like it's like a range of feelings. But like we understand, like okay, if we listen to the song, this is how we feel it. You
Yeah.
know? If it's soft life alcoholic, this is what we're feeling. If it's thirsty, you know, if it's like a beat with the vibe, then like we're feeling something. And I found like that was the most like, you know, it's great, you know, because for me I was like because also like it's been a long time since I listened to music where you can feel, you know, because also like piano is trending now, you know, you always vibing, and that's nice, but there are times where you just want to like just sit and you just want to relax and you just want to feel, you know. And I think your music does that as well, besides like, you know, people saying they were crying over therapy, right? Like you give us an opportunity to feel, you know. And I think it goes for both the genders, you know, men and women as well. And especially I think for the men who are like, I think it's a great thing for them who are taught not to feel, you know, or not to speak about their feelings in general at all, because it's not a thing, you know. When they listen to your music, they're like, okay, maybe it's a good thing, maybe we can feel, you know, because also it's hip-hop, ne? Like I'm rapper, so so it's like if a rapper feels, then maybe it's kind of like a good thing in a way.
What I actually realized about like the process of making music is, if you break down the music that you listen to into 24 hours in a day, now I'm a piano and all the turn up stuff would only constitute from like, let's say from 6 till 2 in the morning. For the rest of the time, what are you listening to? Like what do you listen to on your way to the turn up? What do you listen to when you're bathing? What do you listen to on your way to work? What do you listen to on your lunch break? So there's so much other time that you can occupy, because if everybody's flooding towards the turn up, you have this bottleneck effect where there's only a few that are really accepted or put on that pedestal, and then you have this massive influx of just everybody just doing it, and it kind of waters down it waters down the effect of the music, and it waters down how for the people who are actually like meant to do it on that level. It kind of like, imagine if everybody jumped on piano right before Kabza the Small did it. He would still pop, but then it wouldn't have been as impactful as it was, because now it's that thing, the whole industry is saturated to the point where people pull up and they want to capitalize on it. For the people who create the music that you can actually feel like, yo, this is a vibe, there's so much effort and energy that goes into it, and they do it without the intention of popping or without the intention of rocking crowds and doing all of this stuff or making money from it, you know. So that's where you need to actually like start actually noticing the differences between whether this person is doing this for commercial reasons, for capitalistic reasons, or if like it's actually genuine. And the only way you know about that thing is with feelings. So you need to feel. If you're gonna jump into business, because I don't get that thing, people being taught not to feel. If you're gonna get into business and you're not gonna trust your feelings are your instincts. They let you know that, yo, something is wrong here. You're gonna get into business with shady people and you're gonna cry when you get knocked. That's not how life works, man. And people need to start embracing their feelings more. It's okay to cry, dog. Like, why do you have tear ducts if you can't cry? You know, like why does certain topics get you worked up if you can't express yourself? Anger is a good thing. Reacting, like the action that you would take after the anger it varies. You know, some people become furious and they do dumb things. Some people, it's a moment where you become hyper focused and then you actually realize what's important. So emotional intelligence is really something that we as Majita and us as a country, we need to actually start learning how to do. Because now, if you as an individual react to something, individuals are smart. Now, as soon as you put a crowd of people together, the dumbest thing you'll ever see, bro. Like the weirdest thing set people off. Looting. Yes, I'm gonna understand that, yo, you're hungry and it's all that now, but then now you're breaking the law, you get me? And I understand that, yo, there's two sides to that coin. You need to feed your family, you need to do all these things, but then if you're placed in a position where you can actually sit down and have a conversation with yourself. Half of the people who actually went out looting really didn't want to. It was the mob mentality. You moved as a crowd, right? So if we had more emotional intelligence, I'm not saying it's going to stop altogether, but then situations like that would actually like get lessened, right? So yeah, that's how I feel about like the whole thing of people not thinking that the emotions are valid. But you need to validate those things, dog. There's a reason why it's with you. It's survival instincts, you know, for all intents and purpose.
And how did you learn emotional intelligence?
By going through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I won't lie, like I was a dud before my mom passed, because things would just happen and I'd be like, okay, that's life. But then the one thing that I made sure that I did with the passing of my mom was actually experience every single feeling and understand where it stems from. I went to therapy like I think 3 times or 4. Then from there I understood that how to dealing with your emotions in a healthy way will yield healthy results. I could have been out there doing dumb things, like doing messed up things, and then just blaming it on being sad. Like it's not enough anymore. Like life is not fair for people like me and you. Nah. So for you to then put even more pressure and make the game even more unfair for yourself by being reactive, being reactive without understanding why, it's detrimental, dog. Because I need to build a legacy for my kids. I need to build a legacy for my children's children, and I can't afford to be emotionally dumb
and reacting to everything.
Yeah. If there's one thing that I am responsible for, if there's one thing that I create, it's everything that happens on the inside, right? So if I have a full understanding of everything that I then produce, or I then like the emotions that come from me, if I fully understand these things, then it puts me at a better level than people who don't understand these things. So that I'm not fighting 2 battles at the same time. Now I can focus solely on, okay, how do we make the coins? So yeah, don't work against yourself. Don't work against. Understand what you're feeling and why you're feeling it, and move on from there.
And also, I think a lot of people should understand that it's valid, you know? Like, I think a lot of times, because I think also another factor that feel it's because like we are told, or like often we are reminded that sometimes our feelings are not valid, you know, like by people around us, or in like just sometimes, you know, when you are feeling something and you actually express, you know, it's like hi no nah, you know. I think that's also the thing that kind of like puts people off, you know, is that, but if you actually know that, you know what, they are valid, you know, because it's you that's feeling it, you know. Somebody actually talked to you in a bad way and you are the one that's feeling it, so it's valid because you felt like the way they talked to you was offensive, or you felt like the way you took a thing, like it's shady, and that's it, and you are feeling it. So I think a lot of people should know that their feelings are valid as well.
But then in most cases, the people who are telling you that your feelings aren't valid are validating their feeling of telling you that your feelings aren't valid. So now it's that thing, it's just like it's a vicious cycle, you know, because you don't understand why somebody feels the way they feel, because you don't have empathy, dog. You don't want to put yourself in that person's shoes. So that if someone tells you that your feelings aren't valid without a valid reason, it's just emotional unintelligence on their part. They're just pushing their ignorance and putting it on you. They're projecting. Right? So you also need to understand, that's why the people that you chill with is mad important. Right? So now imagine being gaslit every time you link up with your friends. That's not a healthy person. That's not going to be a healthy person. That's going to be a person who doubts themselves all the time. Your friends need to encourage you. Right? Your friends need to build with you. If you take a stumble, if you fall in front of me, I'm going to laugh, dog. I'm going to fucking laugh, but then I'm going to pick you up. And I'm just like, don't do that again, dog. Like, what? How did that happen? Like, and then we figure out a way to move forward from that.
So I think you talked about this in an interview as well, and I think who's this guy? Kevin Hart also talked about this, right? He said that J. Cole, I'm gonna use J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar, right? It's sort of like they like the mainstream game made room for them, you know, like they made room for them to actually exist, and like, you know, we know that like there isn't just like hip hop where it's trap and it's like, you know, girls, money, jewelry, you know, booty and all of that. There's also like, you know, real stories about real people that, you know, we go through every day, right? So do you ever think there's going to be a time in South Africa where like rappers like you, like the mainstream is going to make room for you?
You don't.
Or you just going to take it?
Room isn't given. Nothing is given. You go out and you force them. So, but booty is important, guys. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah,
Don't
no.
get it- all them
Yeah,
bottles, all the because we
yeah,
aspire.
yeah.
Bro, like, cause like there's
Okay.
a time to celebrate. There's a time to think. There's a time to act, and there's a time where you don't need to act. Bro. You just need to understand how all of those things work. And if you understand how all of those things work, and you apply it into the art that you do, that's how you become a conscious rapper. There's conscious to the social ills of the world and the like politics and stuff, or you could be conscious to your own feelings, conscious to your own thoughts, conscious to you, right? So I feel like the mere fact that you can't really box in conscious rappers. Well, that's why you can't really box in people like Kendrick, people like Cole, and that's why the game had to make room for them, because here are these people with like this big sky thinking who are coming into the game now, where everybody's got this narrow approach to bitches and bottles, cars and jewelry, and yeah. So now you have these people who are talking about real stories now, and it just so happens that they become they're the biggest artists in the world. Well, they're one of three, you know. So will the game ever make room for conscious rap? No. It needs to be on you as the artist to force the issue, to be undeniable, to keep up with the consistency, to keep your energy the same, to keep those people around you who believe in you. So it's just like how everything that we talked about, it all culminates into creating the perfect artist. And I'm not saying that I'm the perfect artist, but I'm perfect to me. I'm the best version of myself right now. I'm the latest download available right now, right? And every day will always bring those new lessons. But then if I keep these core values and fundamentals with me, that's how I know that, when the time comes and I'm on the cusp of nationwide acclaim, well, that's not the aim. Nah, the aim is just to keep making music that I learn from myself, and to keep making music for people who are having a bad day. Just you can bump this thing and it's okay, it's not that bad, dog. Once we get to that point where now it's undeniable and now they don't have a choice but to notice us, because I have all of these things behind me and because what I'm doing means so much more, they don't have a choice but to make room. They will build whatever they need around me. They're not going to break me up and then see what they sell to who. You will make room, build everything all the infrastructure that you have, you will build it around me, and then we'll move forward from there.
And what's the level that you're trying to get to from here? Like, do you aspire to be an international artist? To move from the VAR? Like, what are they?
I don't know, man. Like, I used to have an answer for that, but then I felt like, I don't know, man. I just want I want my art to live beyond me, like to live for 1,000 years after me. I want to be. If I won't even be alive to see my goals come to fruition, basically. Now, I don't like. Did you think when people asked Da Vinci, like, how big do you want to be, that he had this in mind? Like that his artwork would be still in Paris like thousands of years or hundreds of years after he passed on. So ultimately, I just want my music and my art and everything that I love and everything that I stand for to live beyond me, because we're not just doing this for ourselves anymore. Because there's a lot of ills in the world. Like, the world is not a healthy place. We're in a place where kids drop dead in PE, and now people are saying stupid shit. Like, I can't. There's nothing normal about that, So, do my thing, enjoy my life, and heal as we go along is ultimately what I want to do. But then I also want to have fun, because you can't now be Bob Marley and sing freedom songs Molebe. We need to turn up as well. Like, as a person, I am not that one lane. I am so many different lanes that make up who I am. So, yeah, man, just have fun, live a peaceful life, live a life that you'd be proud of. When you look back at it, if there's any regrets, you can't live a life with regrets, because to regret it would be to disrespect the effort and energy that went into it, and not only from you, from everybody around you, right? So there's no decision I regret, and I just want to live the rest of my life in that way. Yeah.
And so you studied graphic design. Why did you choose that?
It was everything that I've done. after like high school, it was because I had this thirst. I had this thirst for expressing myself, because there was like there's this freedom that you get with expressing yourself, right? Like it's just like this moment where you feel weightless while you're doing it now. And graphics was always something I was good at. I didn't really want to do fine art because it involved too much drawing. I can draw, but I really hate it. I really hate drawing. But then graphics was just something that I felt like was challenging now, because there was so much I didn't understand about it. And then I got to VUT, and then I realized that, there's a lot that I don't know. But it was a challenge, and it was also every time you do something and you'd get it right, is that freedom that you got from it. Well, it's just music gives me that same feeling. It's just times 10. So that's why, that thing. I was constantly searching for it, and then I found it with music, because it's bittersweet, because it's really frustrating, but then it also gives you that one thing to aim towards. Because with music, it's like the finish line just keeps getting moved from you. So you can never really finish. You can never be the best, because you always need to strive towards it and work towards it. You don't get crowned the best. The people around you, the people who listen, your critics, the people who hate, the people who love, the people who don't know you, they're the ones who at the end of the day get to crown who the king is, right? So yeah, that's freedom. Freedom is what I chase. Yeah.
And what did I want to ask about? Like, guys, I hate the fact that like English keeps running away from me. It's not healthy. It's really,
the bundles are depleted.
The bundles are depleting, and you know what? Like, you guys need to forgive me, because it takes 7 days to walk to England. So and nobody, like, also it's crazy that like everyone's just trying, like some person just thought of it, like, to search or to walk. How long will it take? Because it's crazy.
Is it really 18 hours to fly to Italy? Nah, but hey, man, it's a coin. It's a term that apparently it's 18 to go and come back, So yeah, but it's things, man.
That's actually 18 hours.
Yeah, but then it's things like that. But like I love this place for having the balls to be different. Like how many phrases come from the Val? How many styles? How many social cues? How many social commentary? All these things. Like how many?
The lingo.
Man, bagata groove like you're fucked up.
Yeah.
But it's a thing. Yeah. It's a beautiful place to be in, especially at the junction where we are, because I feel like we're like just right there at the cusp where Dos came through and he did his thing.
Yeah.
Right now it's that thing. Yeah, where's this guy from? He's from here. Like I don't think he had an idea of how big it was gonna be, but then he did it. He did it, and he's running with it. And it's moments like that, and it's people like that really like inspire me to just let you know that Donna, the next song could be that song. The next project could be that project. The next post could be that post. The next dance could be that dance.
Yeah. So that's why that's why it's like you never stop.
Yeah. You can never stop. You always need to strive, because then once you start settling, that's when you're not going to be as creative as you could be, or like your mind is not going to be as sharp as it should be. So yeah, like that's what I feel like the Val is. There's a lot of negative stuff as well, don't get me wrong, but then for a place that taught me how to rap like proper, for a place where I experienced a lot of life, I just want to like just take the time out to actually like just thank everybody who was a part of it, and thank the Val for being unapologetically Val, so only greatness can come from this place, because they don't answer to anybody. You get me? So yeah.
And what do you think about like the Val hip hop right now as it stands?
Val hip hop Val has always been a place where you have to know how to rap, like rap for real, because I grew like growing up in high school and like most of varsity as well. Ciphers was still a thing, right?
Yeah.
Right. So that's the status. That's the status quo that people grew up on, right? And I feel like it was kind of sad to see that culture leave, but in the same breath, now it's the new kids who are coming in, right? And just because they aren't doing it the same way we did it doesn't mean that their skills aren't as valid. But because you are a product of this place, there will be that thing, you need to be able to do it or rap at a certain level. It's not going to be the same as before, because times change. Hip-hop has always been a young man's game. And to be the voice of the youth, you need to be the youth. You get me? So it's always gonna change. It's always gonna be a thing. Yeah, the kids by now, when their kids are growing up and they bump this, they're not gonna get it because it's not for you. You get me? So, but as far as the hip hop industry and the VAL, I see a lot of hope. Now, I see a lot of kids out there grinding. They're doing their thing. I just want to let you know that, the game is harsh. It's fucking foul, bro. Like it's an extreme sport. You need a really thick skin to do it. But then if you weather the storm, what you gain from it is a lot greater than what you would have suffered. So, yeah, just develop that thick skin. Do it for yourself. Don't look to get put on because nobody's gonna put you on. Nobody owes you anything, right? So, yeah, just do you. As for like the rest of my music, you can get it on all digital platforms. The support is greatly appreciated. Like I know there's not like a lot of guap in streaming, but then that's not the point, right? Yeah. Like the point is to put it out there and know that it means something to somebody. So all you need to do is just look up Flex Van Doom. You can Google me. I'm on Google. People. I'm official. Then if you want to reach out to me and talk, you can hit me up on my Instagram, which is flex_Van Doom. It's the same handle on Twitter. And then on Facebook, I have a page, just Flex Van Doom. And yeah, you can also check out my videos on YouTube. I appreciate that. Just like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, just do all that sexy stuff.
We're gonna do all of the sexy stuff. And just like last words to anyone, like anything that you want to say to people, like one who look up to you, right? And to your fans as well, what do you want to say to them?
I just want to say thank you. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for believing. Thank you for always holding me up to a higher standard. Because I understand that every time I drop something, it always needs to be better than the last thing. So they're a big part of that as well. As much as I want to better, I always want to better myself. And any advice that I have for any upcoming artists or anybody who's trying to do anything in any space, just be consistent. Be consistent. Do everything that you do, you need to do it with conviction. For you to be the best, you need to believe it, and then it will start showing through your actions now. And just be kind, be kind to yourself. Take time out to think about your feelings and understand them, and yeah. Word. Yeah.
Why do you keep saying that word?
Now, where is the full stop?
I think that's also like we talked about ciphers. That's also like one of the things like that ciphers, like people in the car be like, yo, word. Just like, yo, word.
And like the exclamation point.
And after like the person whoever is in this like inside of the circle, whenever this person hits bus, like when they come out, like you get people saying words, son.
Word.
Words.
Yes. Yeah, no, yeah.
But thank you so much for coming to the drop, man.
No, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for watching, you guys. I hope that you really enjoyed this episode. Make sure that you like, you comment, and don't be shy. Make sure that you share to your friends, your family, anyone. And from me, Lisa and Flex, loving light.
She just wanna roll.
Yeah. Yeah.
She just wanna
Yeah. I know you pulling up like in a minute. Running through my mind, I think you find you always in it. I'ma take my time, relax your mind, explore your limits. Persistent follow through, see where I start, I always finish, baby. And I'ma take my time while I'm up in it. And let you rock the boat, I make you flow from start to finish. The fine lines, I get it. Short lines, you with it. Paint pictures of pleasure past 10 lines, you with it, baby. I know you pulling up like in a minute. That Dolce & Gabbana with the slit, I hope you win it. The flavor of your fragrance gon' reciprocate behaviors. Peel back the covers while I'm flipping through the pages, baby. Patience is a virtue, I've been waiting for some ages. Cross night, that body like I'm working on my majors. The student of the game, pleasures and the pains. I've been fantasizing, lady, I can't wait to Christian Grey. What else can I say? I've been waiting for some days. Hand on heart, I won't depart for you, I changed my ways. A man apart without you, baby, you a different wave. Kunta Kinte running for your love and I'm a slave.
She just wanna rover. Baby wants to blow my. She no fear, no lover. Yeah, she call me yoga, some shover. She just want